Hello everybody, I'm Faizal, and today for the urban sociology subject I will present about the urban poverty, the impact of high cost of living towards urban poverty. Let's explore the topics. Hopes you will focus and understand about the subject of urban poverty and the impact of high cost of living towards urban poverty. Definition of poverty. Poverty is associated with the undermining of a range of key human attributes, including health. The poor are exposed to greater personal and environmental health risks, are less well nourished, have less information, and are less able to access healthcare. They thus have a higher risk of illness and disability. In Malaysia, poverty has been categorized into two, which is extreme poverty and poor. Extreme poverty is households which fail to earn enough to fulfill basic survival needs such as food, clothing, and shelter. Households that fall into this category earn average monthly income of less than 460 ringgit in Peninsular Malaysia, less than 630 in Sabah, and less than 590 ringgit in Sarawak. For the poor people, for Peninsula, less than 760 ringgit is considered as poor for the Peninsula people. Less than RM 1050 ringgit is poor for the Sabah, and less than 910 ringgit is considered poor in Sarawak. This is the definition of urban. According to the United Nations, this is the characteristic that determine the place or the area which it can be considered as urban area or not. All these requirement is vital in order to make sure that the area or the people in it is a urban area and they can be considered as an urban community. Next, we proceed with the definition of urban poverty. Urban poverty is the urban poor live with many deprivation. Their daily challenges may include limited access to employment opportunity and income, inadequate and insecure housing and service, violence and unhealthy environment, little or no social protection mechanism, and limited access to adequate health and education opportunities. This is the definition of urban poverty, which we will discuss in this topic. In order to determine the relationship between the high cost of living with the urban poverty, we need to determine the indication of high cost of living towards urban poverty. The first indication is high demand from the urban population. High demand is the high demand for resources with a limited supply. The people who live in the urban usually live by more than 100,000 to a million people in a place. In an urban area, it is a challenge to supply every demand of the urban citizen. There will be short of supply that will impact to the increase of the inflation rate in urban area. This situation will lead to the increase of the price of the groceries and all the items in the urban area. The rise of inflation rate will lead to high cost of living in the urban area since their income is still the same, while their burden, which is the price of gold, will increase that if not controlled will lead to urban poverty. The next indication is far from the agriculture area. Urban areas are recognizing as the place where the center of business activity and industrial activity. Because of that, there will be an issue of the cost to obtain the agriculture product since majority of agriculture product had been produced at the rural area. For the agriculture product to be sent to the urban area, there will be an additional cost such as transportational cost to transport the product from the rural area and storage costs to maintain the quality of the product during the travel from the rural to urban area. The rural are sometimes unable to supply the product. This is where the crisis happen. They are unable to supply to the product to the urban area since the increase of mass population at that area. This situation, if not taken any corrective measure, will increase the cost of living and will lead to urban poverty. The other indicator that we can analyze is the urban lifestyle of the urban area and its population. Urban lifestyle is a lifestyle where everything needs money. They need to pay in order to do their leisure activity, such as going to the theme park, cinema, and gym. The tax for people living in the urban area are usually high compared to rural area since there will be increase in the land tax, property tax, and income tax. The obligations such as to pay for insurance, bill, and other urban community organization fees also increase the cost of living in the urban area that will result in urban poverty if not being managed properly by urban community itself. The fourth indication is high cost of land and property. The high capacity of business activity in the urban area will lead to the competition for land at the urban area. The competition will be between the business and industrial area with the residential area. Since the business and industrial look more lucrative compared to the residential area, usually the business and industrial area win in the competition for land at the urban area. The fierce competition will result to the higher price of house at the urban area. This will terminate the opportunity for the middle and lower income people who are also live at urban to obtain the house at urban area. If the people insist to obtain a house in an urban area, they will suffer high cost of living since the price is unbearable by their income, which eventually will lead to urban poverty. The last point for the indicator is high-end infrastructure and facilities. The infrastructure and facilities that is complete and in high tech at the urban area will eventually result in high cost of living in the urban area. The private school and the private hospital at the urban area demand for people to spend more in order to receive the service. The public transportation also increase the tendency for the urban people to spend more, since they will use the public transportation, which they believe help them to avoid traffic congestion and to reduce their traveling period. The people who want to use their own transport at the highway facilities need to pay more when they need to pay for the toll and for the road tax. This situation is a burden for middle and lower income people of the urban area that will increase their cost of living, that will contribute to increase of urban poverty. In conclusion, the urban poverty is a serious issue happen in urban area. This tragedy happened since there is an imbalanced development in the city and the rapid growth of the city itself that enables some of the population to catch the progress of the urban area. In this century, the urban poverty rate is increased every year. The situation needs to be solved immediately to ensure that the urban poverty do not be as an obstacle for the progress and development of the nation to grow prosperously. That's all the presentation for me. Thank you for listening and focus.